Good morning, Facebook family and friends. Today is Monday, August 3rd of 2015 this year. It's sailing by very quickly. So I did a couple of videos about Sandra Bland and her arrest that ended her arrest after getting pulled over for a very minor traffic violation. Ended up her getting arrested. And eventually she died in the jailhouse under suspicious circumstances. They say she committed suicide. Everybody else said the police killed her. We may ultimately never know the truth because everybody has made up their mind as to what they believe. The only person who can tell us what happened is Sandra Bland. She's the only person who knows. So Sandra Bland would have to be resurrected and come back and tell us exactly what took place in that jailhouse. So now on social media, every social media on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, every time I log in, it's this constant parade of posts and videos, anti-police this, anti-police that, anti-police. And I look at this stuff, and so I always ask people who are posting this stuff, well, have you ever been arrested? They say no. I say, okay. Have you ever been to jail? No. Have you ever been to prison? No. I mean, you're posting all this negative anti-police stuff, but basically your dealings with the police have been very minor. Well, let me set the record straight for those of you who don't know. I have had lots of dealings with the police. I've been arrested. I've been to jail. I've served time in prison. Oh yeah, I've had a lot of run-ins with the police. Now, it's nothing I'm proud of. It's just what happened. And I'm just telling the truth. So I've been with the police since I was a little kid, about 19 years of age, when I was first arrested. And over the years, I've had my share of arrests. And let me tell you something. Every time they slapped them handcuffs on me, I kind of had it coming. There were a few times when I really hadn't done nothing, and eventually the charges would drop. But there were some times when I had done some serious ass shit. And when the police came and slapped them handcuffs and dragged my ass out of jail, I was kind of like, well, I knew this day was possibly coming. But one thing I can honestly say, in all these years, I am 45, I've ran into very, very few aggressive police officers who didn't follow the rules when arresting me. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I don't believe in fighting the police, just like I don't believe in fighting anybody. I'm not going to fight and argue with anybody. When the police came to arrest me, I went, for the most part, peacefully. One time I did run years ago. That was a mistake. However, I did get away. They was right at my place waiting for my ass when I got there. So anyway, I don't believe in fussing and fighting with police officers on the scene, especially if it's something that there's some confusion about as to who did what and what's going on. So I always let the court system kind of hash it out. I've been arrested and had all kinds of charges thrown on me. But eventually, once they're not able to prove those charges, the charges get dismissed. So I'm not going to argue with no police officer, no booking officer, no jailhouse person. I didn't do this. No. Because if I know I didn't do it, eventually these charges are going to be dismissed because they're not going to be able to prove this. Because I believe the system works. And it does work very well for those who trust the system. Now, if you're like Sandra Bland and you don't trust the system, yeah, fuss, fight, argue, raise it, act the damn fool. That's her right. Everybody say that Sandra Bland, that was her right to stand on the side of that street acting a goddamn fool. Hey, you will never catch me on the side of the road wrestling, tussling with no police officer. They said they arrested me with the handcuffs on and throw me in the back of a police car. And have y'all served lunch at that county jail? I might need something to eat when I get over there. So, and there was all this hoopla about the young man who shot those 9 people in Charleston, and they took him to get something to eat at McDonald's. Well, a Burger King or something. Well, I was arrested, and they took me to get something to eat at Burger King. So this was a few years ago. So it's not unusual for a suspect to be arrested for something, and they take them to go get them something to eat, especially if they've already served lunch or dinner, or some jails don't have the capabilities of or their staff to serve this food, so they go out when the food comes from someplace else. So yeah, they Matter of fact, they asked me what I wanted from McDonald's, and they went to McDonald's and got what I wanted. I mean, so that's what I heard people complaining about. They took that young man to get something to eat from Burger King. Those officers were doing their job to make sure he had something to eat so they can get him back to Charleston so he can face those charges for what the crimes that he committed. They weren't trying to, all this hate. This is why I'm really leaning towards leaving social media. It's particularly Facebook and Instagram because it's just a waste of time. I cannot continue to repost after post a video of lies and ignorance and stupidity and dumbass shit. I'm too old for this shit. People posting all this stuff without verifying it, just posting fake shit. The people running around saying that Sandra Bland was dead before she got to the jailhouse. It's just ridiculous. I'm thinking, if they would read a real news report, they would know that the woman was making phone calls pretty much right up to the time that she committed suicide in that jail that day. I don't think that those police officers killed that woman. I think she hung herself in that jail because she was possibly coming down off those drugs that she had in her system. I don't think they're lying about any of this stuff. You can look at the video of her acting a fool and you see it clear. Something is wrong. That this woman is so verbally and visibly upset over getting pulled over for a minor traffic ticket. Let me tell you something. I'll never forget, I was coming through Tennessee. 100 miles per hour flying in my Cadillac Escalade. And I passed about 6 police officers on the side of the road. I said, there they are. And they jumped behind my ass. They immediately pulled me over. And I could pull on over. The officer came up alongside the car. He asked me what was the rush. And I said, no, I was just coming home from my mother's funeral. I had a truck full of people. My mother was sitting in the passenger seat. My little nephew was in the back. So my brother was behind me. There was a bunch of us, luggage and stuff. My mother was sitting there reading the Bible. So the officer looked at us and he just said, okay, you guys slow down. You were doing you were going pretty clip down the highways. And I really didn't pay much attention to what I was doing until I saw those police and I looked at the speedometer and realized I was at 100 miles per hour. I was trying to get my mother home because she was getting on my ass nerves and that damn. Man, we had Bible study all the way from Michigan. We had come through Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky. Now we're in Tennessee, and she was still in the midst of this Bible study. I was trying to get her to Atlanta. I'm serious. So anyway, the officer pulled me over. He didn't give me a warning. He just said, slow down and send us on down the road. Now, I could have been, they had the dogs there. They had all these police. They were ready, because I knew they were looking for drugs. And then let us go. Because I was very respectful and nice to that officer, I didn't raise hell with him because he pulled me over. I knew I was in the wrong. He even asked, were you going over the speed limit? I said, yeah. And at that point, I'm thinking they're probably going to arrest my ass because I was over damn near right at 100. And after certain speed limits, they arrest you and then you have to, bond out and all this stuff. So I've had my dealings with the police. Sandra Bland's dealing that day with that police officer didn't have to end that way. If she had just, the man very kindly asked, would you put out the cigarette? I think I'd have reached over and put out the cigarette. Bitch, you've been smoking any damn way. I can't stand smokers. Put out the goddamn cigarette. If I'd been sitting there, I kind of snatched that cigarette out of their damn hand and said, what is wrong with you? But people don't see it that way. All they see is this mean old police officer telling her to put that damn cigarette. How the fuck he gonna tell her to put that damn cigarette out? And niggas, black folks talk a whole gang of shit. And today's sitting behind a police officer, sitting in front of a police officer. That's why I don't pay these Facebook warriors no attention. I got a lot of friends who Facebook warriors, but they won't bust a grape. They talk all this shit, they big and bad, they bad motherfuckers. On Facebook and Instagram. When they out in the damn streets, they're not going to bust a grape. They're not going to say nothing to these police officers. Y'all can get caught up in all this bullshit. Black lives matter. Black folks this, the police that. But you better think about your own life when you get pulled over. I was arrested a few years ago in an all-white county. I think I was the only black person for 7,000 miles. But those officers treated me with respect. They treated me more than respect. They treated me with love, to be honest with you. So I have nothing but respect for police officers. I think they think the jobs that they do are dangerous. I think they're underpaid. We need police to protect us from the bad guys. There are some really bad people out there who deserve to. But now, Sure, yes. Are there some bad apples in the bunch? Of course. There are some bad police out there. Now, this is what I don't like about these Black Lives Matter and all these campaigns and stuff. They got to come up with a way to be able to identify these bad police and get them off the force. See, that's what it boils down to. Coming up with programs, ideas, legislation, something to get the police to be able to identify these bad police officers who do not need to be there. Some of these officers don't need to be on the police force. Because some officers should be able to handle screaming crazy people like Sandra Bland about a cigarette. That should have been no big deal. Ma'am, here's your ticket. Have a nice day. Because it becomes this control issue. Who they fight, who going to control the situation? Of course, the officer's trying to control the situation, but you got people like Sandra Bland, they want to be in control of the situation. And then this spirals out of control. When I get pulled over, I defer to the police officer so I can get my ass on down the goddamn road. I'm not going to argue with him. But again, I don't argue with anybody. I'm not going to argue with a police officer. I'm not going to argue with no McDonald's worker. I'm not going to argue with the clerk at Macy's. I'm not going to argue with the waiter at Cheesecake Factory. I don't believe in arguing because it gets us nowhere. But some people love to fight. Some people like that mess. You won't catch me arguing with a soul. That's not how I operate. Because it gets you nowhere. Yeah, so I have nothing but respect for the police. I find if you treat them with respect, they treat you with respect. Unless you absolutely run into a Jeffrey Dahmer type killer police officer, which there are a few running around out there. We already know that. But my 25 years, 26, 7, 8 years of dealing with the police, I've not run into these officers. I haven't dealt with a lot of police officers, a whole hell of a lot of them. And for the most part, they treated me with respect, and I treated them with respect, and we didn't have any issues. But again, this is just my opinion, my thoughts, and my feelings, and from my life. I don't know what Sandra Bland's dealings with the police in the past. I don't know what issues she might have had. But on that video, if that's how she treated every police officer she met, well, you know, Eric Garner, a lot of people get upset because I felt that Eric Garner would be alive today. When they said they were going to arrest him for selling cigarettes, he said he had not been selling cigarettes. He made the decision that he was not going to be arrested. They wrestled him down to the ground to arrest. See, all that could have been avoided by simply saying, okay, fine. Because he would have been out of jail in just a few hours. Like I said, I've been arrested on stuff that I haven't done, I didn't do. I just went peacefully because I knew I didn't do it, and I'd be out of jail in a few hours or 2 days later. In that instance, I was arrested in my own home, accused of something that was not true. When I know I hadn't done nothing. So, but anyway, these again just my thoughts and my opinions about the police, and you know, this is my dealings with the police. I've not had these type of issues. I don't have the hatred towards the police that I see all over social media. All these people with all these ignorant posts and all this bull crap. And trust me, they Facebook warriors, Instagram soldiers who won't do nothing when the police pull their ass on the side of the road and say, yes, I'm master. I can assure you of that. So if you like my videos, please click like, share them with family members and friends and strangers. And get out there, guys, and enjoy your Monday. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta. I'm trying to sit here, drink my damn coffee, and find out what's going on in the news. I'm out of here. You guys enjoy your Monday.